The Human Optimization Podcast is proudly brought to you by Vicon Supplements, where quality meets sustainability. Vicon's all-natural supplements are handcrafted and sustainably produced in Canada, bringing you products that nourish both your well-being and our planet. Visit viconsupplements.com today and be a part of a greener, healthier future.
Are you ready to embark on a journey to the best version of you? Join me, Lise Pitel-Killah, as I dive deep into the world of hair tissue mineral analysis and functional medicine with fellow experts, and guide you on the path of unlocking your full potential. As a multi-time kettlebell sport world champion, I'm on a mission to reach high-performance professionals from around the world to help you minimize tiring symptoms, maximize health, and gain unstoppable energy. This is the Human Optimization Podcast. Welcome, everybody, to a brand new episode of the Human Optimization Podcast. I am excited to announce today we have Dr. Lise Janelle. And so let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Lise. Dive into the transformative world, a trailblazing growth accelerator coach known for her groundbreaking heart freedom method. And we're going to touch on that today. Featured on CBC News, CTV's Canada AM, and more, Dr. Janelle liberates clients from subconscious barriers, fostering rapid success. Founder of the Center for Heart Living, she authored You Are Loved and Conversations with the Heart, sharing profound insights into a life of love and growth. A member of the Transformational Leadership Council, Dr. Lise leaves an enduring imprint on personal development. Join us for an inspiring conversation, which we're going to have here. Dr. Lise, give us a little background about yourself, because I was on your website looking, reading and getting to know a little bit more about you. And you literally just shared with me that you are a chiropractor for 22 years and then moved into this transformative space. Amazing. Give us a little background just about you.
Yes, well, I was a chiropractor for 22 years. And early on in my career, I realized I could have 10 patients with same low back pain. 8 of them would get better, but the 2 wouldn't get better. And it drove me crazy. So I went on the quest to understand, how do you make the miracles happen? And that's when I realized that I met a very influential chiropractor in my life. His name is Scott Walker. And he talks about the health triangle. So I believe the natural state of a human being is to be healthy, and we only experience this ease when there's a block to the healing power of the body. Because if that was not so, if you hit your car, you have a bump, it doesn't get fixed.
Yep.
You break your leg, it'll get fixed. So the key is to help the body heal. So we call that the health triangle. So one part of the triangle is structural, the other one is biochemical, and the other one is emotional. So if you're lacking minerals, if you don't have the right diet, all of these things has a major impact. If you eat junk food and toxic stuff, and even if you put creams on your body and they have chemicals in it, it can make you really sick. We have to be so connected to that. The other one that as a chiropractor is structural, adjusting the spine, exercising, massage, all the things we can do to help the body. And the last one is emotions, because every thought that you have, every emotion that you experience creates a chemical reality in your body that can either enhance your health or decrease your health. So I became really interested in NET, neuro-emotional technique, and I was able to, so often low back pain is the story in the background is feeling not supported. So I used to see 8,000 patient visits on average. So I've literally worked with thousands of people one-on-one. And after a while, I started to see patterns. And I started to connect different stories with different situations. And in 2003, I decided that I was going to make a jump into being a full-time coach, because I realized that people who are happy, if they get sick, they get over it a lot faster, and they don't get sick as often either. So I still feel I do chiropractic because I believe the natural state of a human being is to be healthy and happy and successful.
Mm-hmm.
And my job as a coach now is to remove the block to the success and happiness. And I love doing it. And yeah, this is how it started.
Well, and that, you know, the fact that you love what you do, it's quite evident, but so important, right? We when we embrace what we're doing and it just naturally gravitates to the people that we're working with, right? And I have to say, you know, even just reading a little bit about, and I'll come back to what we're talking about, but so you scaled Kilimanjaro, right?
Yes, I did.
Amazing.
Every single foot of it.
Right. I'm just like, you scaled Kilimanjaro, you were a former championship rower, pioneer in women's ice canoeing. So I am in Canada with you. What is ice canoeing? I'm like, what is that?
Well, just hold on. I have a picture.
Oh, I love it. I have never heard of that before.
This is ice canoeing.
That is fascinating. Just fascinating.
Ice canoeing in the olden days, the male system would have a race between the families in Quebec City to see who could cross the river to carry the male from one side of the river the fastest. So that's how it started. Because we were rowers, there were some guys who were doing ice canoeing, and they said women cannot do that. So
and you were like, yes, we can.
So we were the first women ice canoeing. We were the Toronto ice women, not the frigid ice women.
Oh my God. I love it. That is amazing. And so I want to know so talking about barriers, right? Emotional, mental barriers and being happy, 100%. I believe in all of that. Even with regards to you saying, you know, happy people recover faster, they don't get sick, right? They're just in a different mindset. Right. And I think that's super important. And I think it's super important even with regards to what we just talked about with the ice canoeing and climbing a mountain. Right. And so what was I'm curious, what was one of the biggest mental challenges scaling Kilimanjaro for you?
Actually, it's a great question. When you climb Kilimanjaro, you start, you know, you're acclimatized usually for 5 days, but the people who are in my group, they decided they didn't like camping at night.
Okay.
So we had one less day to acclimatize. So you get up at 3 a.m, it's pitch black.
Yep.
And you have this space, because up until the time you get to the mountain, it's like you're walking and it's a gradual slope up, and then boom, it goes
goodness. Okay.
like this.
Okay.
So you get up in the morning, it's 3, it's cold, it's windy, it feels ominous because this black thing is like overlooking you.
Yep.
And being a competitive rower, I'm looking for the top.
Of course.
And I know how much I got in the tank, I'm pushing myself, I'm doing all these things. And we start at the bottom, and all of a sudden one of the guys starts vomiting.
Oh, goodness.
And the guy says, sorry, you're not going to make it to the top, go back.
Yeah.
Now, like, we all feel bad because, you know, you can have cerebral edema, you can have pulmonary edema, it's kind of dangerous. So it's like, woo. So the guys are smart, like it's not their first rodeo. And all of a sudden they start dancing and chanting, and we're okay, I guess we're not dying. So then I make it, and it's like 11 o'clock. We start at 3, it's 11 o'clock.
Yep.
To the point I thought was the summit, and it's called Gilsman's Point.
Oh.
And you still have an hour and a half to go to the summit.
Yep.
Which means another hour and a half to come down. So I'm standing there. I'm hypoxia. I don't have oxygen to my brain, and I'm standing there and I can't walk straight anymore. And I know who I am, and I know it's like, ugh, I don't know if I'll have enough, you know, in the tank. And I love reading books about climbing Everest and all that. And they always say, going up is easy, it's coming down that's not so easy.
Right.
So I'm standing there, and my foggy brain. And I tell my guide, I said, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough to come down. And he goes, don't worry, I'm there for you. I've done this many people. I'm gonna help you down. So that I love. I learned the power of having someone believing in you who's been somewhere. It's just like a good coach. A good coach knows where, they've been there, they've seen other things, they know when they can help you. So cool. But then I'm feeling so poorly because if you walk a little bit too fast, you start vomiting. Like my breath. And I'm going, oh my goodness, like, but why? I needed a why. Why am I going to inflict another 3 hours? So I tell him that, and he says, just think how good it's going to feel 2 days from now after the shower. Yeah, the shower is going to feel good, but 2 days from now, that's too far. And I need a different why. So I'm standing there like, why am I going to do this? I go, oh yeah. So I can inspire my clients to do and go beyond what themselves and have a why for their life.
Yeah.
So I ended up climbing Kilimanjaro because of my guide, because it made me feel safe, but also because of my people like you right now listening, because I love inspiring people to live a great life. People who have a mission, people who have something greater than themselves to live for. Those people live happier lives, longer lives, they have better results. All kinds of things happen for them. So that's my story about Kilimanjaro.
That is amazing. And so inspiring, right? You have to think about what that translates to. I mean, obviously you felt very strongly about that, and that comes out in what you do, being a leader and kind of doing this groundbreaking transformational work. And so give us a little background with regards to the Heart Freedom Method. So let's dive into that a little bit and talk about that. I mean, you've worked with like Olympians and people getting ready for the World Cup. And I mean, a whole slew of different backgrounds of individuals that all kind of benefited from bringing their mindset into some clarity and being able to do some of this work. So dive into that for us. Tell us a little bit of background on that.
Yes. So I love working with high-level athletes and entrepreneurs and like people who have big goals, because when I tweak their subconscious mind, I can make a huge impact on their results. People don't understand that your conscious mind that wants something is the size of a football. And your subconscious mind that's there to keep you alive, the football field.
Yep.
So that's what you're fighting. All right. And when your subconscious mind has, I use this all the time, these are my tools. When your subconscious mind has associated more pain than pleasure, more danger than safety to something you want consciously, it won't let you have it. It works against you, not because it's against you, not because you have self-sabotaging belief, but because your subconscious mind is afraid for you.
Yeah.
Well, I have the Olympic level skier that hadn't placed in 2 years. For example, that's a good story because if you're an athlete in Canada, you're poor. You don't get much money at all.
Right? There's no funding. It's very minimal. Yeah, absolutely. I understand
There's
that
nothing.
too.
So it's sheer willpower and just the courage of bringing the best out of yourself that gets you to go to the Olympic level in Canada. So here's this athlete. She's sacrificing everything. She has hardly any money, no social life. She's training all the time. Romantic life is out the window. You have no place for anything. That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
And guess what? When I tested her, because I have my magic way of testing the subconscious mind, I tested her, I'm ready, willing, and able to win. No. Subconsciously, she didn't want to win. Why? Because when she was 7 years old, she was already winning more than her brothers. So her mom would hide her medals and her trophies so that she would not make them feel bad.
Right.
So now, you heard of Pavlov's dog. So now she has subconsciously connected winning with hurting other people's feelings.
Yeah.
the Pavlovian bell would ring. She's competing against her teammate, but even sometimes your competitors, after a race, you go and talk with each other. And so at the subconscious level, the people around her felt like siblings. So for her to win was going to make somebody else feel bad.
Feel bad. Wow.
So I worked with her. We did a couple sessions. She had other things, but that was the one like that really stands out. And after 2 sessions, she went back on the racing circuit and she placed on the podium.
Amazing.
And I've seen this. It's so common for people who are high achievers. Like I was the keynote speaker for a coaching conference in Chicago, and I had like 350 coaches from North America and some from Europe. And I'm talking about these principles, and I offer at the end, I said, if you want me to test you on, are you able to be successful, ready, willing, and able to be successful, come after the talk and I'll test you.
Mm-hmm.
And I had at least 100 coaches lining up, and the people who organized the conference said they had never seen that before.
Wow.
And out of 100 coaches, and coaches are people who want success for their clients and supposedly themselves, only one coach was congruent with wanting to be successful. Most people associate being successful with being alone, with losing friends, with being resented, making people feel bad. So there's all these inner conflicts inside people that prevent them from moving forward.
Yeah.
And we all have it. We all, every single one of us has those stories. Like, I don't care who you are, why. And again, this comes from working with thousands of people one-on-one. I call this the 2 stages to human development. The first stage is the unconscious, asleep, infantile stage. Everybody goes through this stage. The second one is the conscious, awake, and mature stage. What's the difference between 1 and 2? Is in 1, we get a sense of self, who we are, by the way the world reacts to us.
Mm-hmm.
When it reacts to us in the way we like, we feel I'm queen or king of the world. I can have anything I want. But when the world around us that's busy with their own drama does not react to us the way we wanted, like, what's wrong with me? I won't be able to get what I want. So every single person goes through stage 1, but stage 1 is actually necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a driver for us. Like, again, if I use my famous yin and yang, what ends up happening in stage 1 is the thing that don't feel good, we run away from them.
Right.
So if you start looking at every single thing that's ever happened to you as a driver, that at some level spiritually, you chose this driver to drive you to have the interests that you have, the people that you have in your life, the power that you have, all of these things come from the stage 1. Because, as soon as you are born, what happens is love has to come from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
If mom or dad or someone doesn't take care of you, you die. So we get brainwashed into looking to the outside for a sense of self. That's
makes
the
sense.
great awakening, is that when you go from stage 1, from stage 2, what you use instead of running away from pain towards pleasure, you start using inspiration. So I'm going to give you, again, my visual. This is a visual for my formula for success. The yin, which is the female principle of listening, and the yang, which is the male principle of acting. So your heart wants you to know 2 things. The first thing your heart wants you to know is you're worthy of love.
Yep.
And I can guarantee you, I've done this with thousands, literally thousands of people one-on-one. I haven't met one person yet that at some level did not create subconsciously a story that they're unlovable, unworthy, something is wrong with them. Because stage 1, like I said, like, we are constantly looking to the outside to tell us our worth. So even if, like, the only thing mom did to you was she had the audacity to have another baby. What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Mommy doesn't have time for me anymore. all of these things that happen. So your heart wants you to know two things. The first thing is you're worthy of love. And the second thing your heart wants you to do is admit your dreams and aspiration. And so many people don't want to admit their dreams and aspiration. One, because they don't think they're worthy of it. But I'm going to tell you another story of when this happened quite often is at birth. Because at birth, which is a super scary event in your life, this first event that you have, and it's like kind of tough on everybody else, is that they will take you away and put you in a nursery often. Now they don't do that as much, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But you could be a little baby and you would cry and cry for mommy because you've been with mommy and you want mommy, and you cry and cry and cry and cry and cry for mommy and nobody comes. And then you try again, you cry and cry and cry and cry and cry and cry. And then it hurts too much to cry and ask for what I want, so I'm going to stop asking for what I want.
Yeah.
So when I work with people, I work deep, like it's a whole journey. I teach people now also how to do this work because my goal since 1989, I wrote a mission statement for my life. And part of my career, part of my mission in life says that I'm going to help heal the hearts of millions of people through maximizing their life potential. So I can't keep doing this one-on-one.
Yeah.
That's why I'm changing now, and I'm doing online, and I'm certifying coaches in my method, because that way, I won't have to do it. So, so the first thing I check with people is the yin, and then there's the yang, which is you need now to organize your time to give your heart what it wants. That's why I call this the Center for Heart Living, because now you come from love for yourself, from inspiration. When you're in stage one, you run away from pain towards pleasure, which is great, because otherwise, I believe that our essence, who you are, is love. So that the good news is every single one of us has access to it. The only thing that lives in the heart is love, gratitude, inspiration, and wisdom. Love, gratitude, inspiration, and wisdom. Love is not an emotion. Like you can love your kids to death and still get really mad at them because they're doing something really annoying. And so when you love, you know the difference. Like, okay, I love them, but I'm feeling these emotions. So love is different than emotion.
Yeah.
We all have access to the heart, and that's what I do. I do the heart freedom meditation. And it's part of if you want to download this, at the end, we'll tell you where to get it. But when I get you in your heart, at that moment, people feel nothing is missing. I'm beautiful, I'm safe. Like, it's like you're Buddha under the Buddha tree. So could you imagine what would happen if all of us on planet Earth, we had no desire? I believe that's where the Buddhist principle, having no desire comes from. It's just like when you in your heart, you feel nothing is missing. So we have to forget our essence through the birth process, and it sends us on a big journey. And through that journey, you develop talents, qualities, interests, and things like that. But the only thing that holds you back from full success is the story that something is wrong with you for having experienced challenges. Which is the furthest thing from the truth. Yeah. Because it's not because mom had a baby that something is wrong with you. It's not because they were fighting that something is wrong with you. It's not because your 15-year-old girlfriend or boyfriend dumped you that something is wrong with you. So the more you can start looking at everything that's happening, instead of happening to you, it's happening for you. Right. So when I work with my clients, one of the first things, and if you remember, this is the only thing you remember from this podcast interview, is like, when you face a challenge, take a deep breath and go, all right, since I'm worthy of love, how is what's happening helping me? Where is this helping? And I have a corny story I can tell you. It's a good corny story.
Love it. Tell us.
One day the scientist, and many of you have seen this, one day the scientist is observing a butterfly coming out of a cocoon, and it's a huge struggle. It takes hours and hours and hours. So to ice the butterfly, he cuts the cocoon open. But by doing this, The butterfly has nothing to struggle against, so the wings are weak, can never fly, and it dies like that.
Oh my goodness.
So once you start looking at every single challenge you've ever had as a way to build your wing, and that there was no coincidence in every challenge you've ever had, that it was happening for you, and you start looking at this through that lens, you're going to change your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be able to have gratitude for even the most challenging moment in your life. Like, I do public speaking and I teach, and I've had this to thousands of people. Raise your hand if you've never had challenges in your life. And so far, only one person ever raised her hand, and she said, it's me. And she was a young person, and she goes, it's me. She says, and I'm scared because I know when I face a challenge, I don't know how I'm going to be able to face that.
Oh, wow.
So if you're a smart human being, if you're a smart cookie, you're not going to try to avoid having challenges and only have pleasure.
Right.
It doesn't happen. That's why I use the yin and the yang all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You will not escape support and challenges throughout your whole life. And when you can use look at challenges as actually there to build you, to direct you, to help you. In stage one, it drove you while you were unconscious. But once you start playing the game in stage two of how am I going to use everything consciously now? I'm not going to react to this. Like, one of the reasons actually I end up doing this is in 1988, my father was diagnosed with terminal cancer and given 9 months to live. That was 3 weeks before my sister's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
A week after my sister's wedding, my 21-year-old brother died in a car accident.
Oh,
and then
my
within a month of that, my 8-year relationship to the man I thought I was going to marry ended. And it was like, ow, ow,
yeah.
ow.
Oh my goodness.
Because of the pain, I ran away from the pain. So what did
Yeah.
I do? I went on a quest to understand, what does it take to live an amazing life so that when these things happen, you don't go flat like a pancake.
Yeah.
So all of these challenges that happened to me in 1988 drove me to meet Scott Walker. I learned NET, but I also met John DeMartini, and I learned the power of gratitude. So all of my work is actually, and the heart freedom method that I created is a combination of those two things. I'm able to, within 10 to 15 minutes, I'm able to find a moment when you created a belief and dissolve it from your physiology. So it's not in your subconscious mind. But then I take it to the next level where I actually bring gratitude for these events in your life. So every time you do work with the heart freedom method, you always feel more amazing. And I'm writing a book right now with Jack Canfield, the co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series.
Yep.
So he sold 600 million books in his career. So hopefully we'll sell 1 million books. And my goal will be accomplished.
I'm sure it'll happen.
And so it's 10 steps. So everybody can learn how to do it. So when the book comes out, people can learn how to do it. Right now, I have a program online called Unleash Your Dream Life.
Mm-hmm.
And I teach you how to use the method for romantic life, for your health, for your weight management, cravings, and things like that, for finances, for career. Anytime you face a challenge, you can use the heart freedom method and find a moment where you created a belief, which is a lie. It's a lie, because the truth is you are worthy of love. No matter what is happening, it's always happening for you. So again, when you face a challenge, take a deep breath in. Since I'm worthy of love, because if you say since I'm worthy of love, it gets rid of the emotions, because emotions are guides to show you where you have the illusion of being unworthy of love. Emotions are guides, whether it's sadness, anger, depression, hopelessness, helplessness. When we feel these emotions, it's because we have the illusion of being unworthy of love. So by bringing yourself back into your heart and going, okay, since I'm worthy of love, you let go of the emotions. Now you have access to your frontal cortex, and you can look at what's happening more logically. And now you can go into your wisdom and go, all right, I have a goal of wanting to go there. How is what's happening right now, even though it's super challenging, how is this helping me get where I want?
Yeah.
And there are only two reasons why you face a challenge. The first reason you face a challenge is because it's something you need to master, because obviously if you mastered it, it wouldn't be a challenge.
Yep.
And or it's sending you in a direction you need to go that you are either aware of or not aware of. Like in my case, you know, when I told you in 1988 what happened to me,
Yeah.
I was not aware that this challenge was sending me on a total different journey. The only thing I did is I trusted the journey. And sometimes you know you need to quit that job and it's sucking the life out of you. Well, you
Yeah.
keep at it, and then something happens and you get so upset. But if you look at it, you're gonna go, you know what? This is the kick in the butt I needed to quit my job. So
Yep.
my whole philosophy is, you know, you don't need to take 10,000 hours of, you know, therapy to make your life successful. If you start with some basic principles, you can accelerate your growth. You can, first, you need to become really clear about your purpose in life, what you're here to do. Most people have no idea. And they're like, it's like I give you a map and I give you a car and gasoline money, but I don't tell you where to go.
Yeah.
You're going to go on all kinds of wandering paths and you're going to, you know, explore a lot of things, but you're going to feel like empty. I don't have a goal. Most people don't spend the time to listen to their heart. What is it my heart wants? Who am I? Why am I here? Where am I going? And then once you're really clear in your heart, because every day you are subjected to 10,000 different ways you can use your time.
That's true.
And I don't have to have a crystal ball to tell you what your life is going to be 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Your life 10 years from now is going to be how you used your time. If you use your time on things that you love, 10 years from now, you're going to be grateful. If right now you're using your time on watching, you know, horror movies and like complaining about your friends and like doing all kinds like low inspiration activities, I can guarantee you 10 years from now, you're going to be miserable. My spouse is not making me happy. Usually when somebody comes to see me and they have a list this long of their spouse is not making them happy, I said, how's your career? And
Oh, well, and we can't go outside expecting someone else to bring us happiness either. Right? That's doing the same thing that we talked about the first time, right? We're going outside of ourselves to find that happiness. You have to go inside.
I'm going to use the word hypocrite.
Yeah.
You have to be a hypocrite to believe that someone has more of a responsibility to pay attention to you and give you what you want than you. Why the heck are you not taking the time to discover who you are?
Yep.
And then organizing your time to give it to you? It's nobody's job to give it to you. It's like most of us are stuck in stage one, which is the, you know, the childish part of ourselves. When you're a baby, what happens when you have a boo-boo? Oh, mommy, daddy, come and, you know, make me feel better. And we constantly looking to the outside to make us better. It's not going to work. If you're listening to this right now and you're still hoping for a savior, it is not going to happen. I can guarantee you. But if you commit today, I'm going to start doing my inner work. I'm going to become clear on who I am, what I'm here to do, what matters to my heart. I'm going to get rid of my subconscious belief working against me, and I'm going to organize my time every day to get what my heart wants. I guarantee you, you're going to get happier. You don't have to be born under a lucky star. You don't have to have the right genes or anything. Like, if you do this, you're going to get happy. It's no luck. It's not a luck factor. The luck is maybe you're listening to this right now and you decide, okay, I'm going to commit to myself.
Yep,
The
absolutely.
commitment to yourself that's going to bring you the happiness you crave.
Yeah. Well, and it's such a powerful thing to bring to the surface. And you're right. It's the things that come into your, I call it into your universe, right? That guide you in that direction. But you've got to be paying attention,
You
right?
got to be conscious.
Yeah, you've got to be here, like where you are right now, right? If you're listening, if you're watching, you have to be here because everything comes into your universe for a purpose, right? But if you're not listening, you miss that, right? And then you miss the message. And you're right too, I feel like when it comes to challenges, you have the victim and then you have the awareness person, right? Not really the right word, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. And that awareness and understanding of, okay, I'm not feeling sorry for myself because this happened. What am I supposed to learn from this? What is this telling me about myself or what I'm doing or where I'm going? Right. And that's taking it to the next level of learning and acceptance to say, what should I be taking away from this rather than getting upset about it? So I think the breathing technique and just kind of that mantra is really important.
Yeah. I
Really
say,
important.
as long as you're a victim, you're stuck. You're
Oh,
stuck in stage one.
absolutely.
I call stage one the boot camp or hell on earth.
Yep.
And I call stage two heaven on earth.
Love it.
So if you're a victim, you're going to be stuck in stage one forever. But if you become conscious and you decide, all right, everything is happening for me.
Mm-hmm.
You see how much more empowering that is? Like, even if what I'm saying is caca, you don't need to have a PhD to understand that if you start asking, how is this happening for me? Instead of why do these things always happen to me? There's a difference in the experience. It's a totally new game. I call stage two the ultimate game of life. And everybody has the capacity to start playing in stage two, creating a heaven on earth for yourself, creating, the best life possible. And it just needs to happen through a commitment. Like you're an athlete and you got high levels. None of this would have happened if you had not been committed to high standards for your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the same thing, like what are the standards for your life? You want to live an average life or you want to live an extraordinary life?
Yeah.
The people who live extraordinary life are the ones who live by the values of their heart.
Mm-hmm.
For me, success is not counted by the amount of money you make.
Mm-hmm.
True success is the ability to live by the values of your heart. Like I went to New York City and I worked with one of the top Hollywood actors.
Yeah.
That they have private jet, cooks, wranglers to play with their kids. They have millions of fans. Like they have everything that tells you you should be happy.
Mm-hmm.
But I still was there to help them. Because happiness is never going to come from the outside, ever, ever. And again, like you said, we cannot wait for the outside world to do it for us.
No.
If you commit today, you want to be healthy, watching your nutrition, exercising, doing all these things, and living a happy life, this is what's going to bring you vitality, vibrancy. It's going to help you make a difference, not only in your life, but the life of others. Because if you go and tell people what to do, people go, yeah. But if they watch you and they go, oh, wow, look at Lisa, look at Robert, look how much they've changed.
Mm-hmm.
They watch you go, you are inspiring people. You can pull people up just by being yourself.
Absolutely. Well, and that's part of, I always found, this was years ago, when you're thinking about where you want to go, you need to surround yourself with the people that scare you just a little bit, that are already there, right? You might think that, oh my goodness, they're so smart. Like I don't want to have a conversation with them. I might not feel so smart anymore. But that's what you need. You need to get out of your own way, out of your comfort level, and you need to find those people and surround yourself with them so that you're constantly challenging yourself to go to that next level if that's what you desire.
I have a saying, out of my comfort zone lies my destiny. Once,
Yes.
once you're not comfortable, that means you're pulling yourself out of your comfort zone. Like I was a competitive rower,
Mhm.
and I saw how the people were training with the national team people.
Yep.
They made the national team a lot easier. Why? Because if you're training with them, you get used to that level. And then it's a
Exactly.
lot easier to slide in. And I'm sure you heard of the saying that you want to know where you're going to be 5 years from now? Watch who your friends are.
Exactly. 100%. 100% agree. Yeah. It's the people that you surround yourself with that take you on that journey. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as a parent, if you're listening to this, watch who your kids hang around with.
Yep.
Because I've seen this as one of the biggest challenge. If your kids are hanging around people who are driven, they make things happen, your
Yep.
kids are a lot safer than if they are hanging around kids who have no drive in life and depressed and things like that. It's super important.
Exactly. No, I couldn't agree more. Wow. Well, and I want to mention something else that you offer as well. And I know you've got one coming up super soon, but your extreme freedom weekends. I saw that. I'm like, I want to go there. I'm signing. All right. I'm ready to sign up for this. Like, so give us a little background on that. I'm super interested just to hear more about it. What do you do?
Oh, yeah, I love extreme freedom. And I called it extreme because I've had people who were bungee jumping and jumping out of an airplane, but
That's
they were
amazing.
afraid of spending time with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And freedom, for me, freedom is not the ability to do what you want when you want. Freedom is the ability to do what's good for your heart.
Mm-hmm.
So what I teach is on the Saturday, I teach you a philosophy of life that empowers you to come from a hard place. And I teach you a method called the DeMartini method that allows you to look at anything that's happening in your life and change it from a super challenging thing to a place of gratitude. You remember the butterfly
Mm-hmm.
in the cocoon
Yep.
story?
Yep.
So the reason why I teach this is because in 1989, after all the things that were happening with my dad, my brother, and all those things, I ended up doing this seminar, and I ended up doing the DeMartini method, and I had such up until that moment, I was really mad at my father, really mad at my father because he had been scary and alcoholic and
Yep.
things, and I had been so mad at him. And then within a few hours of doing this method, I opened up my heart so big that I became so grateful for him because I realized it didn't happen to me, it happened for me.
Right.
That he had given me courage and power and the ability to travel the world and start my own business, all of these things because of what I had gotten from my father. And then to be also able to look at my father, not at my father, but as a human being who had had really challenging things. So it's a powerful method where within 4 to 5 hours, you transform something that was really challenging in your life to
Mm-hmm.
an immense state of gratitude. So
Yeah.
Saturday is all about helping you connect with your heart and get you a real experience of your heart. It's actually a really powerful. That's why I ended up stopping being a chiropractor, which I loved, just because that experience was so powerful. I went, wow. And then on Sunday, what we do is we spend a whole day creating a mission statement for your life. You
Mm.
become clear on what is good for you.
Yeah.
So Saturday is dedicated to giving you, sorry, an experience of your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And Sunday is all about getting clear. So now you can organize your time to give yourself what you want.
That's amazing. Wow. Wow. So We have to leave it there, but oh my gosh, I could talk to you for hours because this is so
Can talk for
important,
hours, you can
right?
see.
This is so important. And people, again, if you're listening or watching, there's a reason why this podcast, you were drawn to this episode to hear this. It's coming into your universe for a reason. Don't let it slip by and just, keep surfing social media and forget about it because we're here for a reason. So I want to give you just some connections as well with regards to Dr. Lise. So Dr. Lise, Lise Janelle, JANELLE.com. So that's her main website. And then heartfreedommethod.com is her other website. And of course, social media. So, and we had mentioned sharing something, a link. So if you send that over to my team, we'll make sure that we put it in the description so that we can share that to our listeners and viewers.
Actually, if you go to Heart Freedom Method, the website, right in the middle, there's a link, and you're gonna get all kinds of goodies.
Perfect. So
You get meditation, you're gonna get me doing the method with someone, you're gonna get all kinds of really juicy things.
amazing. So heartfreedommethod.com if you want to dive into that. I think if you're listening there or watching, there's a reason why this is here. You should head over to that website and check it out. And so, Dr. Lise, I just want to say thank you so much for your time today. This was truly inspiring. You have such an amazing story, even with the scaling of Kilimanjaro and the mental tenacity it took for you to continue to get to that summit is a true inspiration. So I want to thank you for sharing that with us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you everyone for listening.
Absolutely.
And we can change the world when we start listening to our hearts. We cannot stop wars in the world if we have wars within ourselves. So we can have a world impact each time we listen to our heart.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. If you're listening on your favorite podcast host, make sure you follow our channel and give this episode a like. If you're watching us on YouTube, again, subscribe to the channel. We have a brand new episode every 2 weeks, and we will see you next time. Thanks for joining us today on the Human Optimization Podcast. Episode technical production is by Grace Sylvester and guest booking by Stu Tate. Want to learn more? Visit Pitel-Killah.com for incredible free resources to supercharge your journey to becoming the best version of you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like and subscribe to the Human Optimization Podcast and follow me on social media at Lise Pitel-Killah.